It's not been ideal, I'll be honest. We are Premier League, but we are finding it difficult in the transfer window. Hello then, folks, and welcome back to another episode of DoctorBenjyFM's AFC Thames. I don't know why I've said it like that before. Now, as you can see, we're still in debt. I know, Premier League side, still in debt. We're climbing out of it pretty rapidly. The income you get now for TV revenue per month is pretty big. So far, we've not received any money, which is why we're still in the debt. As soon as we receive that next payment of money, we will be back in the black. So that's quite exciting. The problem we've got at the moment is that I've got 16.9 million to spend. And our first game of the season is today. Now, we're not actually going to play that game because there is so much to talk about in terms of a transfer window. There was no video yesterday because I spent 3 hours looking for a left winger, that's the lifestyle, viewers. That's the life. People don't say this is a real job. People don't say that, this is a full-time pursuit. Let me tell you, looking for a left back from literally everywhere and not finding one that will join is tough. So yeah, we've had some problems. Let's run through some of those problems before we talk about those three boys there. Right, in terms of outs, let's start with that. Jack Wildig has gone. He's left the team. I say gone. He's gone to Lyon on loan. I didn't really see him featuring for me this season. It doesn't really make sense for him to be here anymore. Now, there's a few players like this. We've got a couple released as well up on the same lines. If you can find that correctly, just give you one moment. The problem we've got now is that, and Nick Wyman leaving is just indicative of the situation we're in. We sort of went from League One to the Championship very, very quickly. He came in as sort of like a steady Eddie, and he has to leave. This is the one that's going to surprise you. Eddie Dougherty has left. Now, in terms of ability, he's probably not Premier League standard. I think we could probably all agree with that, but it can't really be ignored that in terms of clean sheets, 17 and 45 for a promotion season is pretty good. I guess the bigger issue for us is that we had to improve in quality. With Eddie Dougherty, it was like, if you want to stay as a backup, you can. He didn't really fancy that, so he's gone. It was that simple, really. We probably still need to bring in a decent backup goalkeeper because I kind of relied on the fact that Eddie would be my guy, but that's not the way it's worked. As I said before, we've got £16.9 million to spend, and we're in sort of the start of August now. Of course, I have until the end of August, so there's still time to go. But if I had my way, there would be no money here. I have bid and gone for players so many times and got to the point of clubs going, yeah, that sounds reasonable. And I think, brilliant, here we go. And then you go to the contract screen and they are not interested in talking to me. I've had that situation an awful lot of times. We've got a 3-star reputation in the Premier League, and you've seen the title of today's video. I don't want to say this is the reason, but we are 2,000 to 1. So those odds aren't great, viewers. If I'm honest, those odds aren't great. So who have we brought in now? How have we improved the team? Have we improved the team? I guess it's part of the question. And the first thing to kick things off by saying is that John Solomon, the main man, is back for another season. He has been a goal-scoring supremo, 91 goals in 127 matches for me. Last season, 31 with 10 assists and 10 man of the match awards. Got better than the previous year for me. And again, moving up to the Championship. We now move with him to the Premier League. Bournemouth are in the Championship, so thanks to Bournemouth for letting me have a player that would almost certainly get them out of this mess they're in, having just been relegated. So that's the first big bit of news, really. The other names, then, let's talk through a few of these. Easier said than done. So the first move we make, Jimmy Anderson, no, not the cricketer, from Bristol City, £5.5 million, and this transfer looks a little odd when you see another signing I've made. But Jimmy Anderson comes in. I think you can agree we've levelled up in terms of players that actually are part of the team now. Jimmy Anderson at right back looks like a really solid addition for me. Say 5.5 million. Has sort of played a little bit for Bristol City. For me, he's way better than this. Started at Manchester City. I think for a side just promoted, he's just got such a well-rounded set of attributes that I really like that. The tackling of 16 really appeals to me. Bravery of 18, again, really appeals to me. We'll get forward. I think we're going to need our wing-backs this season to push forward. Of course, be defensively stable, but to push forward and be more involved, creating overlaps, creating double-ups on the right and left-hand side, I thought it was important. Now, let's move on. We've sold Dougherty. I say sold Dougherty. He's left us. So we have to bring in a new goalkeeper. Welcome. Great name. Lewis Nee. Here he is. £2 million, signed as a backup on a backup contract. So if he doesn't play particularly well throughout this season and I have to bring in another goalkeeper, he's not going to be annoyed. But if I play him from the start of the season, he's going to be loving it, viewers. I think you can agree, again, when you compare him to Eddie Dougherty, I think we can just about show the two of them. There is a dramatic improvement. In terms of eccentricity, they are equally tame, let's just say. But yeah, we've definitely leveled up our goalkeeper by some distance, I dare say. Lewis Nee comes in then. Surprisingly, free transfer from Liverpool, one of those players that just never really got first team opportunities. So we, snapped him up as soon as we possibly could. Welcome him to the side. We mentioned that Solomon was back, and he's not the only one. Another Liverpool addition. David Lloyd is back for another season. Of course, I'm happy about this. Last year, 9 goals, 6 assists, 7.08. Really consistent. We're getting him for the exact same amount that we paid in the Championship for the season. Great technique, good work rates, the physicals. We've talked about this before. Fantastic. Lovely stuff. Hopefully he has another season like he did last year and performs at a relatively high level. Now, I said before, Jimmy Anderson's transfer will seem odd when I reveal another one. And from Colo Colo, you can't not go to Chile and not have fun. Franco Pizarro has joined us. Another right back, 19 years of age. If it doesn't necessarily work out with Jimmy Anderson, well, we've got another backup right back if needed. So we've got 2 really good ones now. I feel for George Heath, who was the backup right back to Wyman once upon a time and is still here. But yeah, West, of course, was here last year on loan. We've brought in 2 different right backs. Both really good. This one probably mentally slightly better, physically still very good. Technically, has got a little bit about him. And at 19 as well, I'd expect him to improve. This could well be our guy going forward. But I wanted someone more for the here and now, and I think Jimmy Anderson is probably that guy. With Franco coming in, all the cup games, things like that. That's definitely where I see him playing. Now, 2 loan signings from Germany, and these are fun, viewers, let me tell you. David Osmanovic, now he's the first one. Now this, my friends, is what you call a good loan transfer. Centre-back, 6 foot tall, from Dortmund, physically fantastic, very, very quick as well, which in this division, I've seen some of the strikers, probably worth it. Good passing as well, great ball playing defender, like it says there, he could be a right back, but not the way I'm going to play him. Again, good enough tackling, good enough heading, some really good mental attributes as well for me as well. I like the fact he's got 14 concentration and composure and anticipation. Again, he's only 18, so I can't imagine what this guy will look like in about 5 years. Like, he's going to be one of the best defenders maybe in the world in 5 years, and we've got him now, which is quite exciting. One of those players that if I get on only in next year, I'll be happy with that, I reckon. So yeah, David Osmanovic comes in. Again, very happy with this. Good player. And on the theme of good players, Lionel and Trout from Bayern Munich. Yes, this is like a slightly better, the way to describe him, I think, he's a slightly better version of Solomon, maybe. Very, very similar, but maybe slightly better. Again, 20-year-old German, under 21 international. Hasn't really played that much for Bayern's first team. In fact, I don't think he's played for Bayern's first team at all, looking at that. But yeah, 9 goals in 13 in the 3rd tier. This is a big step up for him in the Premier League, but with that agility, pace, decent enough dribbling ability, great finishing ability, composure, off the ball. Of course, we had Lange last year. He's not joined us. He's gone somewhere else. He's already signed that contract before the end of the season. But Trout comes in. Again, I'm pretty happy with this. I think this is like the right sort of transfer for me to make. If I'm going to make loan deals, they have to be players that are about to become superstars. And for me, this guy is pretty close to that, it feels like. So, again, a couple of seasons' time, he's going to be pretty good. And finally, this is the most frustrating transfer I've made. 2.6 million for Zoran Serpak, which I think's a brilliant name as well. He's out for 10 days to 3 weeks. Now, you might think, men, you brought in a left back. Magel's still here. Why have you? Because he's not going to play left back. That's not what he's been signed for. He's been signed to play here. Left midfield. Great work rate, great technique. You've only got to look at the highlighted attributes to see exactly why we've signed him out there. Maybe his dribbling ability isn't the best. I'm not as worried about that. Like, his crossing's really good. Again, his passing's really good. About being part of like a team unit. Again, the teamwork could be slightly better, but it's the decision making, again, really, really solid. So he won't be, because he's got 16 decision making, in my mind, he won't just trying to be dribbled past people and not do it very successfully. He's still got some decent acceleration, so he might be okay, but again, it's not necessarily the highest attribute, so you've got to be careful. But again, because his decision making is good, I think I'm going to be okay. Concentration, maybe a bit of an issue, but a more defensive minded left winger. David Lloyd on the other side, not really that. So again, to have some nice balance to it, I think on that left hand side, we're going to be quite strong. We're going to be quite stable. You've heard that before. Him and Magel really working well together on that left hand side, but injured for our first few games of the season. So irrelevant, viewers. Now, the signings I'm trying to make, and we've had this situation, as mentioned before. Yeah, sure, you've seen him. Esposito is still alive, viewers. He's 37. It's Esposito. I don't care what you've got to say for yourself. I've spent nearly 20 years doing this save. If I wasn't going to sign a wonder kid from now in real life, then when am I ever going to do it? So Esposito comes in. I say comes in. I'm trying to get him in. 10 assists last season in Ligue 1. That's solid. Spent a lifetime at Manchester City, so he knows all about that. Had a loan spell at Leicester, which didn't go successfully. Was a goal-scoring machine for many years. And if we can get just, 5 goals out of him maybe in a league season, that'd be very exciting. He also wants to come in as director of football. Now, Esposito is not the greatest director of football, but I'm more interested in his goal-scoring talents. And again, his contract's not that long, so we'll see. That's the least interesting of the transfers. Left winger wise, I wanted another one. So Stefano Amoroso looks like a pretty good option. We had a right-footed left winger last year, and it actually worked quite well. It allowed Magel loads of space down the left-hand side. So I'm not opposed to doing that again. This guy's a little bit quicker. Again, much better dribbling, driving inside, maybe finding that final ball. His vision and passing aren't great, but again, it's the speed. I think that's the big plus for this guy. I don't know if I'm going to get him, is how I actually feel about it right now, because the loan situation has been tough. But again, if he comes in, happy days. Now, this man, there's a reason I've saved him till the end. 19 years of age, from Juventus. Philippo Baroni. Now, I've never wanted a player more in the Thames save so far. I must have put in, I'm going to say 11 loan offers. People have said, make him a top target, really try and get him to sign. And Philippo Baroni so far hasn't signed. Now, I want him to play on the left side of the midfield too. And I've just realised, actually, that I've signed a player that's not on the list. Hang on a minute here. Right, let's first off, hang on. Let's talk about Philippo Baroni before I bring you a signing that's not on that list because it happened at the back end of last season. You can see why I'd really want him. He's brilliant. So if he signs me, fantastic. He's interested. Juve let me make the offer and then accept the offer every single time. If he signs for me, we're winning the league, viewers. That's how good he is. I might have gone a bit far. But yeah, 6'2". He's amazing. He's absolutely amazing. 6 goals in 22 caps for the 21s, and he's a ball-winning midfielder or box-to-box player. I love him. I absolutely love him. So at one time in my life, I'd like to sign him. Again, it's a reputation issue. He doesn't really believe in the project at Thames, which is fair enough because he's brilliant. So, it hurts a little bit. I mentioned there's a player that we've signed. There may be 2 now I'm thinking about it, but it might just be the one. At the back end of last season, just the one. £3.4 million from Derby County. And I'm really, really happy with this. Michael McGregor has joined us and a really solid central midfield option. I'm really, really happy with this guy. Great first touch, great work rate, great stamina. Will be up and down, and playmaking as well, right? Really good passing ability. This is probably the best midfielder we've ever had, so I can't be too disgruntled. Really, really good. Tries killer balls often, which with the lineup that we have, the way that we play with this 4-4-2 system, that's going to work quite well for me. You can see from my board midfielder, Agbaji is someone I love from previous seasons, but I do think we need something slightly better in that role. And then when I look at Baroni, I think, it's probably you. Look at the state. I'd like him to sign. What can I say? I'd like him to sign. Finding a ball winner has been... There's a reason, again, there was a reason there wasn't a video yesterday. And I could have talked you through the progress, but it's like, this isn't even fun. Like, I'm just looking for every ball winning midfielder who's got any ability. And I found about 3 or 4 that I thought, you'd be brilliant. Come on. Oh, I've been accepted. Now he doesn't want to talk to me. Again, there's one man that I've found that I would love to have that is a massive part of this problem. I'm going to see me spend some big money, and I'm going to show you him because I still want him. He's like end goals of the save at this point. It's him. It's Luis Arias. He's 22 years of age, Peruvian, and he's just obviously really good. He's fast, great agility, great work rate, great dribbling, great first touch. And I can offer to buy him. I've got this deal agreed here. Fee, 5 million, and then another 5 million over like a period of time with a percentage of sell-on fee. They love it. They absolutely love it. And then he talks to him and he goes, No, I don't think so. And I'm fine. River want you to go. So please join me. Obviously River have got lots of good. He's better than. Why have I not seen you before? Hang on a minute. I've not really been looking at centre-backs. I think that's part of the problem. Luigi then and Asmanovic are going to play as my back 2, I think, going forward this season. Jimmy Anderson at right-back seems like a good choice. Magel, I think, is still definitely good enough. I think the physical attributes probably bail him out, where his technicals are lacking. I wish he'd accepted the £40 million bid from Fulham. But, you know, here we are, Maggle. It's fine. We got promoted. Maybe it was all worth it. Lloyd and Jakobsen at the moment on the left-hand side. You can see why I want to buy a natural left-sided player, can't you? And the front two, Solomon's got an injury to begin the season, so there's a few issues. A lot of the other names, though, very familiar. Simeon Packham would do an okay job as a backup defender. Troy Fleet definitely would. Like, he's probably the unlucky man here not to start this season. But again, we brought in David. So, yeah, it's not going to happen. Franco Pizarro, of course, again, a really good right-back option off the bench. You've got Solomon on there who struggling for fitness. Sol Woodford is the kind of player that, again, a decent option for us if it absolutely has to be called upon. The core attributes of him, the composure, the finishing, the pace, the technique, etc., still really good. So I don't have any qualms about that. The balance of the squad right now is okay. Like, I'm relatively happy with it. There is a lot of potential in the side, and the important thing for me at this point is that we own some of that potential now. Luigi, below, Serpak, Anderson, McGregor, even Maggle, right? We own these players. Pizarro's another one of those. So I'm less concerned by the fact that we've got loans when they are now sort of littered between players that we own and have value to now. So if we were to be relegated, for example, we'd still have loads of money. Will we be relegated? That's the big question, right? Will I be relegated this season? It's a tough season to be a part of. If obviously we just flicked through those players. You'll have played Football Manager before, but for those that don't manage in the Premier League so often, this is the kind of player we're up against on a weekly basis. And I could basically just pick any of the good players here. Bloody, this is ridiculous. The levels have changed quite a lot. That's one of the best defenders I've ever seen in Football Manager. I've swallowed there, viewers. I don't know if you've caught that. They're all good. All the best 11 are good, and their teams are stacked in that fashion too. So it gets quite scary. He's not even in the team of that's nonsense. Okay, so it's going to be tough. Of course, we're going to do most of our good work this season, you would hope, against all the sides, I would say probably below Thames, ironically enough, who have had a weird couple of seasons. Of course, they still have, Morea. He's their player in the best 11, but they find themselves in 12th after a poor season last year. I'm hoping if we pick results up against Burnley, Wolves, Villa, West Ham, Sheffield United, Stoke and Brighton, we definitely have a chance of staying up. Of course, we're going to try and upset the top lot. But if I lose every game against Manchester United, City, Liverpool, Arsenal, Chelsea, Tottenham, even Newcastle, Norwich, Leicester, right? I'm not going to be that gutted about it. I'm trying to pick up points against these teams. I'm almost going to try and prioritise against those teams. And tactically, we might create another system that is a little bit more defensively stable. Maybe it's just got one striker in it. Maybe we're having someone playing in more of a support role. I still think there's room for me to bring in an attacking midfielder, because right now, if our system sort of breaks and doesn't work, there aren't really many plan Bs. And when you're the best team or one of the better sides, in theory, in the Championship, we weren't, but we still got promoted. It's easier when you're on that run to sort of stick with the same system. When things aren't going your way, there is this want to change it a little bit, and sometimes that might work. Again, dropping just a striker back might be that case, just to fill the midfield a little more. So yeah, I'm probably going to look to bring in an attacking midfielder. Still want another left winger if possible. Striker, never rule those out. Definitely another central midfielder, probably two central midfielders. And yeah, because I've spent so long trying to prioritise key positions that currently aren't very good in terms of quality, it's meant that some other positions have fallen away a little bit, and while we have good first team depth, there's not a great deal behind them. So I definitely need to focus on that going forward. And of course, we've already used quite a few of our loans up. We've got £17 million. It doesn't stretch that far in the Premier League, if I'm honest. And tomorrow then, we will kick things off with our first matches. That video will be out a little bit earlier because England's on later that night, and I suspect people's interest might be on that rather than my Football Manager video, as good as it'll be. So if you enjoyed this, do drop a like on it. Want to see some more, make sure you subscribe. And of course, I started a new series earlier today. Go check out the Norwich project, where we're taking, similar to this really, but we're doing it with current day players, and I'm trying to win the league with Norwich very quickly. With Thames, it's survival, so slightly different. Again, if you enjoyed the video, drop a like. See you tomorrow, and we love with care. Goodbye. It's not been an easy window. Let me know what you thought.